Oh, the mic on. We back. We back like we left some, y'all.
Share it though.
Yeah, let me share it real quick.
Round 3 in this motherfucker.
Let me share it real quick. Okay, man, I say posting, post it. Okay, we back like we left some, y'all. We in there, y'all. We in there like swimwear, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We hollered at, you know what I'm saying, my man Barton. You know what I'm saying? We got word over, you know what I'm saying? Y'all remember Barton Cable. Come on, man, stop playing, man.
Barton.
Y'all remember Barton, man. Y'all, like, come on, man. I'm a real 80s baby, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all remember Barton. You know what I mean? So this was before like Fire Sticks. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. We had Barton Cable, man. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You had Barton Cable. You was really getting it. You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with us.
Get back to
all right.
The topic.
Here we go, y'all. Rumble in the Classroom. Mm-hmm. Okay? On tonight's episode of Excuse My Truth podcast, we are talking about Rumble in the Classroom, teacher versus student, old school versus new school. And the conversation was established because of the recent video that surfaced of the teacher who took the phone from the young lady. And these are both African-American women. The teacher took the student's phone. The student was going, disrespecting her, got up out of her seat and walked up to the teacher, who's a grown motherfucking woman, went behind the desk and attempted to take her phone back. And when she didn't give her phone back, she swung on her, and the teacher like responded and beat her ass. Basically, got her on the ground, fucked her up before she held her down and, you know what I'm saying, waited for help.
So we're gonna pick up where we left off because we don't have to keep starting the whole story back over as we come back in off these technical difficulties. So where we left off is we were talking about the culture of the classroom.
Indeed.
And whether or not, because we want to compare it to old school and how we as children were not this disrespectful. We didn't do the type of things. We didn't go as far as these kids are going. And Mr. Ward was saying that that's due to the lack of relationship that's being established between teacher and student. Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering what's preventing the relationship.
Wow. What's preventing the relationship? Sometimes it's twofold. Everybody plays a part in it, D. Uh-huh. You know, I want you to think about this again. When we walked into a classroom, you know, Mr. Three, as you talked about, right? Yeah. When we walked into the classroom, he didn't have to do anything to earn our respect.
He came in with that posture.
We came in, well, that's a whole different animal too, though. You had masculine men, you had real women who loved what they were doing, but the household taught us that we respected our elders, right? Whether you were in the church house, whether you were in school, whether it was Miss Jones down the street, whatever the case may be. It could have been your uncle who was suffering from a drug addiction or whatever. You respected them because they were an adult. And you remained in the child's place.
And then if you didn't, there were dire consequences. But then there's another issue. Because the level of discipline that you're able to exert has changed.
Facts. Because when I was in school, Miss Lattimore had Buddy and Friend. And Friend was 5 12-inch brown wood rulers taped together. Okay, that was Friend. Okay. Buddy was like the fraternity paddle. Yeah. With the motherfucking black handle around that bitch with the handle with the leather handle on the end, so she could get real, like, hold on to that motherfucker and really do some damage. You know what I'm saying? If need be. And if you got that in school, when you got home,
that's the
you
difference.
Got additional discipline.
Right.
But
see, difference. I'm not even talking about, because see, some of these teachers don't have self-control, so I'm not even talking about give them the liberty to do what was done to us. What I'm saying is there's even a restriction and a constraint on the amount of discipline you're able to exert at home.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? You beat your child's ass. You need your ass whooped. You beat your child's ass. Next thing you know, you got a business card in your motherfucking screen door.
Well, D, I'm gonna tell you about that, and I'm glad you said that. Carla, I'm glad you're saying that. Yeah, we feel a lot of stuff at home, but I want you to think about this, Carla Hunter. What occurred is the parent and the instructors worked together.
Yeah, they did.
They worked together. I'm 52 years old, and yes, I have laid my hands on both of my sons. I have a 32-year-old son. I have a 19-year-old son who's in college right now. My 32-year-old is a college graduate, about to be married, a whole nine, family man, businessman, the whole nine. I have a 12-year-old daughter. You know, I put my hands on my children when it was necessary. But the funny thing about that is I can count the number of times where I've had to actually whoop them. the country, the laws, or none of that. I don't care about any of that because when the child is in a position where they have to have some type of physical reprimand, it starts early. If it doesn't start early, and then you try to do it when they're 12 or 14 years old or 11, now it becomes an adversarial situation because the child is foreign to it. So you start that thing off early, letting them know, hey, man, look here. This can happen. And I think, yeah, sometimes we say that, D, but the harsh reality of it is I just think we have become such great friends and fans of our children because now, you know, some of us live in larger homes than we did when we grew up, and we're able to give our children some of the things that we didn't have. So now we are living vicariously through our children, and we love to be able to be on social media and look at all the things we've done for them and look at the great things that they've done as opposed to not going away from what our parents did to us, which was provided some morals, some discipline, and some structure along the way. And that's what we really got.
And consistency, too.
That's the key. That's the key.
Yeah, the family structure is a dynamic that really makes it a very unique situation because, as I stated earlier, and the point I was making was not like the actual discipline or I'm just saying like the teachers then would do that, but when you got home, like my mom was for the most part was a single mom, and then she eventually got married or whatever. But like before we had a stepdaddy, moms would beat your, like, you know what I'm saying, like mom, we knew my mama didn't play no roles, you know what I'm saying, like at all. The women in my aunties didn't play with my cousins, you know what I'm saying. So but nowadays to the point where and no not but when you got 15-year-olds having kids, you know what I'm saying, and you a great grandma, you know what I'm saying, and a grandma, you know what I'm saying, at 30, you know what I mean, like that, those realities and those narratives play a huge factor into it.
Our grandmothers had children though when they were young, y'all know that.
Yeah.
This is not a new phenomenon.
Yeah, but they had we had legit stability though,
but
even in that.
Our grandmothers were young and
real
had
villages,
models
real
that
villages
were better than the models that these teenage mothers had.
So that is the difference. In
Yeah.
in any experiment, as you already know, you about to almost get your PhD in a minute, D. You already know. In any experiment, there's constants and variables.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the constant is, okay, some children are being born to early mothers, okay? Early motherhood is not a new phenomenon.
Right.
The difference is the mindset of that mother and that father.
And the support
And the
system
support
that's
system.
that
around
village,
her.
absolutely.
That's it.
You understand what I'm saying? Because if you can have, like, most of these teenage mothers now getting kicked out their house. You understand? Or they or it's don't be the pastor's daughter. You understand? You're getting shunned and all this type of shit.
That been
You understand
happening
what I'm saying? So, but back in the day, they didn't shun them. They just didn't speak on it. The family, the village took care of them children.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
and
they send them girls down
Regardless,
south.
or wherever, but they still took care of them children, and they still provided a sense of and source of support to these mothers.
It didn't matter if the child was born in incest; they kept it under wraps and took care of the baby.
Indeed.
All that was up under
Man, in
the
all my years of
All
being
that
in
was under
school,
the rug.
I don't remember a situation where a student put hands on a fucking teacher. Not let's I mean, let's go with the topic.
But see, that's
Rumbling in
because the
classroom,
teachers
right?
Very,
back
very
then
seldom, very seldom.
could physically discipline us.
Yeah, but by the time I got in
And
high
so
school,
we
they weren't
had
physically
we
disciplined.
not only had respect, we had fear.
Yeah.
I think that ended
So
at
why has
middle
that
school for
changed?
me.
Why has that, D? So what you
Because
getting at,
they
why has it
taught
changed?
respect and fear as two different entities.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Well, that's one, because when you
It
talk
has
about
been
reverence
taught
fear,
as
that's
two different
respectable fear.
entities. You understand what I'm saying? But as it pertains to other authority,
Yeah.
you have reverential fear today. Some of these kids have reverential fear of their parents, but a lot of them don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Because the parents, like you
I think
said,
they
are
back
more
to
friends
yeah,
than parents.
yeah, and didn't establish a precedent when
And
they were
so
kids.
then, if
babies.
I have not established a level of respect foundation at home, or a level of reverential fear at home with my authority, then what are you going to do with the authority that you encounter outside of my supervision?
you go and well, the elephant in the room is we've mentioned disrespect and respect a number of times already tonight, right? We got to stop using that term when it comes to young people, and I'm gonna tell you why. They haven't been taught what respect is. So let's really deal with it. Our young people don't know what respect is because it's not stressed at home.
Not that
And
it's not stressed at home, but you have cultural context, you got social context, what they see adults doing.
there you go. There you go. That's it right there.
You know, you got children learn from modeled behavior, right?
Hey, most of the behavior
And so,
that's
it's
right.
not just the adults in the home. It's the adults on social media.
you
It's
go.
the adults in society.
Yes.
It's the adults in the building.
Man, that's tough.
Kids match energy.
Kids match energy, and when you're being told, I have had more children tell me, more teenage young people tell me that, yeah, my mother said, you know, if they don't respect you, you ain't got to respect them. I've had
Now,
so
that's
many.
a damn shame.
No. Listen, you listen when I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Dude. I've had so many young people tell me that I couldn't begin to tell you how many. I can't even estimate how many. And that is what they're being told at home. So, and understand, as you mentioned the term consequences, each of you. You think about this. You did not want to get suspended from school. And not only did you not want to get suspended,
There's a reason
a
why.
phone call. You think about this.
Because why though?
Because your mama wasn't gonna
About
play no.
that.
Your mom and daddy wasn't
Tear
gonna play no
that
games.
ass
They're
up.
gonna tear that behind up.
You know what I
so
mean?
here we are now. I've suspended students from school, and when the readmit conference is here and there, I get the call on the radio, Coach Ward. We have a readmit conference for you. All right, let's go. I'm looking forward to it. The kid has on a new outfit. The kid has a cell phone or a new cell phone. The kid got on some new shoes. And you are attempting to battle that, and you're trying to provide some discipline for a child who has none under the roof in which they live. It is almost impossible.
Let me ask you a question. That
It's
parent
virtually
that
impossible.
showed up for the readmit conference, have you ever seen that parent in the building before?
Oh, no.
And that's why
Some-
there's
well,
no,
you know what, D?
there's no cohesiveness
Sometimes.
between the teacher and the administration and the parent. There's no relationship between those two forces that are impacting the children.
You are on it, D, but I'm going to say this, though. I had to.
See,
let
because
me-
I was a parent that was in the school. That's how we met.
I'm very visible. They know me. They see me
All
they
the
know me.
time.
You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? My mom
All the
wasn't
teachers know
though.
my name.
But
You know what I'm saying? But her,
some of
when
our
she
parents
showed
are.
up, she showed up in her police DPD
Oh, she wasn't
uniform.
playing. She wasn't
so
playing.
they knew her. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
But think about this. Some of the parents are there, and they're not. They're typically there as a reaction. They're not there to be proactive at all.
They're not there throughout the
No,
entire
they're not.
process.
Nope.
They're just
Nope.
there when they get a phone call.
So the relationship between instructor and parent is an adversarial relationship. It is combative at times. Unfortunately, this is what happens is just what you said. You spot on. When a child sees the disagreement or the child sees the division between the parent and the instructor is done.
Done.
Because once they see, oh, you know what? My mama on my side. See, I never felt as if my mother was on my side when it came between me and adult. I don't care who the adult was. So I knew, like, all right, man, ain't no sense of me even thinking about being disrespectful.
Yeah, that's a lose-lose.
So I've given some children. Now this is what's gonna mess you up. I've given some children an out because I do not believe you can arrest your way out of crime and you can't suspend your way out of problems within the school. So again, relationships.
Right.
Hey, my man, look, go on, I need you to do this tomorrow. You go over there, you apologize to the teacher, man, or you go over there tomorrow, 3rd and 4th hour. You have lunchroom duty. Just push this garbage can around to the tables. You ain't got to grab nobody's garbage. Just tell them, hey, throw your garbage away. You're going to love this. 75 to 80% of those students who were given that opportunity to make a sound decision, it's not even a decision to make for us. The child, 75 to 80% of the time, has said, I'll take what? I'll take the suspension, which lets you know
yeah, because
that
You want to know why? You want to know why?
I
It's
know
a
why, but I'm going to hear you.
vacation.
It's a vacation. Absolutely.
They don't want to be there anyway.
They don't want to be there anyway. It's a
Especially
built-in
under
vacation.
an authority.
and if I'm that
Yeah.
guy, I'm not about to push no motherfucking trash
understand
can
what
around
I'm
the
saying?
fucking lunchroom.
But-
Well, you a lie. I tell you what.
I'm just saying though. So when I'm talking for him to choose to be
If you
suspended.
ask
I
me in
think-
1986, 88, or 75, hey man, we gonna call your mama and tell her, man, you was up here acting up. We gonna call your old dude and tell you was acting up. Just take this garbage, man.
Let
What
me
you
ask
want?
you a
How far
question.
you need me to take the
At
garbage?
King-
I do it too,
at King
and that's
is one of the
97.
higher level
Mm-hmm.
academic high schools in
In
the
the city of
city,
Detroit,
right?
absolutely.
Do you find that there is more or less of parental involvement?
Oh, it's more. Anytime you have scholastic success,
Scholastic, right.
Anytime
So-
you have scholastic success, you're going to have more parental involvement, and you're going to have a little bit more father involvement
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
But
Which probably explains why you've not seen this to that level at
Absolutely.
your school.
well, not at King. But the one thing I did, and again, I'll say this: this is something new, though. D. I was at Southeastern before I became the head coach at King High School. I was a head coach on 3030 Fairview, and my parents, every
Shout
parent
out to
in
the
school-
Fairview Greens.
Hey, come on, man. Fairview Greens, hey, 30-30, dirty
Yeah,
30 in
let's
the building. You know? But you check it out. I established a rapport and relationship. So when by the time the parents realize, okay, who this man is, once they realize what I was about, the parents will walk in the building and say, oh no, Coach Ward, he can whoop my son's ass. And it wasn't just my players, but they knew that I loved them. And I think that's where we have to get more strategic and more savvy. You know, I always say you got to have a little bit more game to you. These young people got to know that you love them. I've done some things inside the schoolhouse
That's key.
that everybody can't do.
That's
As a matter of fact, I've done some things in the schoolhouse in the last 25 years or so that if anybody probably tried it, it would be a fight. But because the young people know that I love them, because I know the grandmother's name, because when they come to school with a new haircut, I say, boy, I see them ways, boy, you killing the game right there.
But see, you're in a different position. Right?
What- from what? From who?
From the teacher.
No, stop, D. You can't-
I'm asking a question.
Yes.
So we have the teacher in the classroom.
Yep.
It's a person of authority.
Yep.
And I'm not distinguishing that. You're still a person of authority.
I'm the person of authority. Though.
Right. What I'm saying though is your amount of contact with those students is different than the amount of contact with the teacher.
I have more. See,
More?
they see
Okay.
the teacher sees them 1 hour out of the day.
Okay.
I'm in the hallway with them. I'm in the
Okay.
cafeteria with them. When they do something wrong, I walk around to the classrooms. I see them all day.
So then the problem is the absence of people like you.
Well, I would say that. I ain't going to hide from that no more. I used to run from that and with all humility. But I have to say this is I will go the extra mile because in my mind, our children are not and our families are not supposed to do one thing, Macho. They can't fail.
But maybe it's more so the lack of more people like him as opposed to the absence of him. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I didn't say the absence of him. I
Uh-huh.
said the absence of people like him.
Well, yeah, okay,
That's
yeah,
what
right,
I. That's
okay,
exactly
yeah,
what I
okay,
said.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, character-wise, interest-wise,
we
because
need
my
more
thing
of
is
that.
everybody knows teachers don't get paid what they ought
Yep.
to get paid,
Yep, no
and you
question.
know that walking into that profession.
Indeed.
So absolutely, this has to be your passion if you're going into it, because you're not going into it for profit.
Not at all.
So I want
And
to
so,
ask
if
the
it's your
question.
passion, explain to me why you don't care.
I want to ask the question. Callers, listeners, guests, as a parent, you see that video of your child walking up to the teacher, disrespecting her, and then swinging on her, and the teacher retaliating and beating your child ass. What do you do? Because now we saw a
Lesson
post.
learned.
We saw a post, and they say it was fake. It wasn't a mom. But in the post, they basically like, my child had the audacity to go up to a grown up cussing, like I ain't taught them better. You know what I mean? And you put your hands on the grown up, like you deserve to get your ass beat. And that's my response. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't condone hoe shit. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Right.
You do hoe shit, that's some hoe shit. And I've never raised my children to, and this and the irony of it is when I grew up and we got on the elevator, we was in a restaurant and an adult walked in, we didn't cuss. Nowadays
go.
these motherfuckers don't stop cussing, they cuss
They
even
cuss right
even
in front
more.
of the principal.
Yeah, so
and he stand there and don't say shit.
so when you see that as a parent, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have that? You know what I mean? Denise Brown said, "My kids are a reflection of me." Absolutely.
So my child, so that earlier, I don't know what segment we were in, first, second, or third, but I was talking about how my child, he was in summer camp. And they kept telling me how disrespectful he was being. And I promise you, I was that parent. I am that parent where he wrong, I'm checking him. You
Yep.
wrong, I'm checking
Yep.
you.
Until
You know what I'm saying? That's me.
I love it.
So, but the stuff they were telling me, I couldn't fathom
Your son though.
my son doing, right? Because you absolutely know better. Because you've been taught better. You've been shown better, right? So one day the lady decided to videotape him in one of his moments. And so when I went to pick him up, she pulled me aside
said,
right
"Look
there.
at this."
She showed me the video.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't even contain myself. Like, he was standing right next to me. He wanted to go to the car. I said, no.
Come on.
Stand right here. My son was he was 9 years old, so he's probably like this tall. My man was like 6-something. You know, football player stature like you, right? He telling him, you ain't my daddy. Call my mama. You want him to call me? Bro, like, you in here like, I'm talking about going ham on this man.
Wow.
What? And so when I saw the video, I just couldn't contain myself.
yourself.
Like, I grabbed him by his shirt. I said, so this is what we doing when I'm not around? Right in front of the
Everybody.
administration.
Supposed to.
Just so you know, this ain't what we
This
do.
ain't what we doing. I ain't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about embarrassing you, because clearly they've been telling me the motherfucking truth. So you've been embarrassing me every day. I've been coming up here like flabbergasted at the things they've been saying about you.
But D, that isn't a reflection on you at all.
It's not a reflection on me, because I know kids gonna try what they gonna try with whoever they gonna try with until that person let them know they can't try it. You know what I'm saying?
I think, you know.
But it was just like, oh no, my baby, no.
What Macho has not said on the air, at least not tonight, is the fact that I coached his son too, right? I coached Randy Winans, big kid, handsome young fella, athletic. He was never disrespectful. And if he told the line a little bit, which he would at times, his father was one call away, right? And I think the one difference is oftentimes is the elephant in the room in our community, which we don't want to talk about, due to the success scholastically, financially, professionally of our queens, is the fact that oftentimes our young people, you know, for the most part, this is a fatherless generation in a certain portion of our community. So our young people have a disdain for authority, not just males. They have you saw that young girl, you know, when you're talking about that was not a child against an adult. When I heard the interaction, let alone what I saw.
She was adult to adult.
It was an adult to adult.
Her mindset.
Yeah. And you know, the funny thing about it, you don't even see adults disrespect. I mean, you know, at times you do, but we don't see adults disrespect each other.
These kids have no restraint. Let me ask you a question. How much do you think social media and that whole puffed upness that everybody wants to present on social media, and then now you have to play it out in reality?
So let me add, since you bring that up.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you got this social media persona. Hold on 1 second, Mark.
Yeah,
you got this social media persona. You badass behind that keyboard. So now you got to be badass.
You got to be badass in reality.
Or you look like you on some old.
You better cut it out.
You understand what
I'm saying?
You talking
real talk.
I know I am.
One of the components of that story that came out to me when I posted a video on the 7 Mile Radio page is that the reason why the students were recording, right, is because the girl told her friends to start recording
because it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all for clout. Like, social media has a lot to do with it. I think some of these kids really fucking know better. And like my son was homeschooled or virtually schooled from 3rd through 7th grade, right?
Okay.
He's in 8th grade now at Ferndale Middle School.
Okay.
So he gets there and it's like, oh, it's a brand new motherfucking world, right?
Yeah. It's gonna take him a year and a half, 2 years to
exactly. It's a
get
brand
all
new
this,
motherfucking world. Like he's doing well academically, but the social aspect, it's like you trying to prove something to these motherfucking kids. Like,
and I understand that.
I get it. It's like you want to identify, you want to relate, you want to peer group, you want to be accepted, you want to be liked, you want to be part of the popular group and all that type of shit. But come on, my baby.
Well, everybody, you know, the song and Cheers, you know, everybody wants to go somewhere where everybody knows their name. So you think about this, these young people now, social media is in the literal sense, it's everything to these young people, right?
Everything.
So now, you know, when I have our young princesses in my office, and so let's get this. Our young girls are so angry, it's unbelievable. And again, any attention is good attention for them. So the young girl fighting social media. Now we can sit here and act like this is not our reality.
Right, because you told the girls to record.
Hey, listen, man. She got her behind beat, but guess what? In her mind, guess what she is today?
She stepped to a teacher.
She famous and she stepped to a teacher.
So you went viral, bitch.
So
You
she
know
went
what I'm saying?
viral. So if you don't believe that one of her friends deep down somewhere is thinking, man, when I get the opportunity, I'm almost do the same thing, even though she got her behind beat. You don't think they got,
just for
crime is
like the street cred.
Just for that street cred,
her
man.
fans
Mark.
on social media are like, that's my
That's my
hero.
girl. Yeah. When she come
You know
back to
what I mean?
school, if she goes to another school, when she walks in the building,
Oh, that's the girl that beat that teacher's ass. Don't fuck with her.
Don't-
Oh no, they got her ass
That
beat by
fought
the
the
teacher.
it don't matter. That fault. They're going to say
She was a
Yeah.
badass. She
Yeah.
stepped to the teacher.
And she
stepped to
swung
the
on her
teacher.
though. She
She
blew the
don't-
teacher shit out though.
she
So
don't
they
play
know.
it.
So they know she with the shit already.
they know she with it.
So
So
don't fuck with her.
our young
get that,
people,
yeah.
our young people are driven by the likes. They're driven by social media, and our self-esteem is at an all-time low. And we got to do something about it. But more importantly, I'm gonna just say it, and I'm gonna say it now. We got to make sure that our children understand what respect is. They don't understand what respect is, and we got to love them enough to spend more time with them.
And you know what? This is the thing. We can't, like you said earlier, we can't expect them to respect without relationship.
Nope. Those
You're
days
not
are
gonna
gone.
you can't respect you. They're not going
Those
to
days are
respect you
gone,
without
D.
relationship. To these kids, it's like they already assume don't nobody give a fuck.
Man.
If everybody don't give a fuck, then who the fuck they gonna respect? You have to
Facts.
distinguish yourself apart from the populace.
Wow. But D, you think about this though. I want y'all to think about this. And you will look up once every 4-5 days, Macho was in our building. But I want you to think about this. Our young people, unfortunate, whatever the case may be, they're seeing their mothers fight. This is what you talked about earlier.
It's
I've
the
had so
adults.
many
Denise said
people
on
say,
here-
man, my mama beat the lady up next door. She had a fight with her this weekend. And I'm thinking like, man, I didn't see my mama fight.
Right. Denise said it's our fault. These kids are sponges. They absorb everything. We don't have fathers in the home, and that's a major problem. Children are not afraid of their parents, so they definitely not about to be scared of authority.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah,
That last line right there say it
the
all.
shit we do 25, 30 and up on social media, and we wonder why our kids' heads fucked up. We beefing with the lady across the street
Well, you have family
on live.
fights. You have
know
a
what I'm
family
saying?
fight.
Family fights. Everything is on social media. Everything is broadcasted, right? And so, if children learn from model behavior, where they getting this shit from?
I'm gonna say this, and I'll say this now, Queen. If our children do not get to see true relationships and true love amongst adults, I'm gonna say it now. I'll say it now. And the last piece of it, man, if they don't get to see some real fatherhood somewhere, granddaddy or somebody,
Somewhere.
you'll be doing this podcast segment again in 20 years.
Saying the same shit.
But you'll just be talking about you working on your third doctorate, Queen, and it's unfortunate because these young people. See, this is the thing that people don't realize, and I want our listeners, our viewers, to listen to this and listen to this carefully. Our children don't deserve this shit. Our children don't deserve it, and we look at it like, yeah, she a badass, she don't play. Our children don't deserve to feel this way. Our children don't deserve to act like animals.
Yeah.
So I want us to really think about this. We always think about what our children receive and they mistreated them and all of that. Our children do not deserve to be viewed as barbaric creatures because that's not what the hell they are. But when we send them into the world, and you don't send them in the
And you
world with
send
no
them
manners and
out
respect.
in the world ill-equipped.
You better stop, because that's what I was just about to say. You're a psychic too. When you send them into this world ill-equipped, and not a world views your child as a barbarian, as a fool,
Misfits.
they don't deserve.
Yeah.
Our children don't deserve that. So while we think this shit is cute, we better do something different,
Dressing
man.
them up like paper dolls, and we ain't putting shit in
We ain't
them.
putting nothing in their soul. So I'm gonna tell you this, and because I'm gonna write a book, and I've done my memoirs and everything on this thing, on the verge of extinction with a question mark. You just said, See, at some point, we have to really, really look at this thing. If we continue on the path that we going, what is this thing gonna look like in 30, 40 years? Or are we so damn selfish where we don't care? Now I want y'all to think about
and
that.
I think it's the latter.
It's the
because I
latter.
think we're not so stupid to where we're
No, we ain't that
unaware
stupid.
of
We
the
ain't immune to
reality.
it.
No, some of us are though, Queen.
No, some of us want to act like we are because
Mm-hmm.
we're in denial and we don't want to acknowledge.
Yeah, because there's enough of us that know.
Yes,
We
I
know
it's
you're
not
not. You've
accountability.
not gotten
You the
to
minority,
this level of adulthood without the cognitive ability to determine whether or not something is right or wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So you know what it is.
Yeah.
You just don't give a fuck.
You
Yeah,
just don't
but
get it.
and then when you think about like, okay, so today's parents, right? Because again, when and my children are 21, 20, and 16, and no lie, somebody just said this the other day about my knucklehead ass son. They said, dude, just so motherfucking mannerable, like, and he's a fucking giant, like he's so fucking mannerable, right?
Literally.
But again, to Coach's point, I, as a fucking father, like my father was murdered when I was 2. You know what I mean? So I was so intentional about making sure that my son was
Can you
gonna have a
repeat that?
different.
Can you repeat that one
I
time?
That
was
word
so
It
intentional.
was so intentional.
I was so fucking intentional. So all the teachers knew my fucking name. Like when they didn't know they knew my fucking name. In the schools, the security guards know my fucking name. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so my presence was known. So when you
And I
think about,
and so when we ask ourselves, what is the problem with these kids? We have to say
it goes to the parents.
to
Like
the
the
adults.
parents have to.
I won't even just say the
accountability.
parents. I will say adults.
Yeah, but
adults,
the
all the
village.
adults
We
that
talked
are
about
around
the village,
this
right?
parent.
We talked about the village, right?
They ain't letting it. Yeah, you're right though. Macho right
We-
on this because the parents are sequestering the children away from everyone else as far as being allowed to. Your uncle could whoop your behind. Your auntie
And you
could whoop
respect
your.
him when he's around, but
And
you
you-
don't respect your parents when he ain't.
Come on, man.
I
Come
feel
on.
it. I feel
So
it.
today now, I've seen mothers fight their brothers for trying to discipline the nephew, the son of the mother. I've seen it.
Down what my kid. See. So the whole debate.
Yep.
Spare the
Right.
rod,
Spoil the child.
Spoil the child.
Yep.
Beat them.
But then
Surely they
there's a
will not
debate.
die.
Are you influencing aggression in the child? Are you proposing that this child is using violence or aggression as a means of problem solving?
I want to read this comment.
That is.
I
You
wanna-
understand what? So then we have this generation of parents
real.
that just want to communicate. We're gonna talk about it, and so but
out.
there's.
Well, oftentimes
I don't feel like a lot of the discipline that I got, I should have got right. Like,
Yeah,
right,
some of that shit was just out the
Some of that,
fucking
yeah,
box. You
yeah,
know what I'm
too much.
saying?
It was.
It was just ridiculous.
Right.
Shit. The fork wasn't clean, so I gotta get my ass beat. Like, I'll just wash the fork again. Like, come on, give me a
Right,
chance. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And so. I think they're
Excessive as fuck.
equating physical discipline to that which we receive, because that which we receive was really what is termed as abuse.
It was over.
today.
It was over the top.
It's
But-
termed as abuse
So
today.
and I would
But
say we
there
gotta get
still
better.
has to be. I wonder though. Let me ask you,
Hmm?
because you deal with kids all the.
Every
Do
day.
you think that when we emit physical discipline upon our children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that teach them that the resolution to problems is
It's
physical
physical all the time.
aggression?
You're a bad lady.
And then now we see this generation of fighting, and everything is physical
Well-
to resolve.
Well-
and then it becomes beyond the physical because you
Yep.
can't take an ass whooping.
Hey,
So now we shoot.
while we shooting. Well, but you know what, D? You're right. A portion of it is right. But I will say this: what you said earlier. See, when you talk about relationships, the one thing that we don't talk about in relationships in our community and the therapy is so needed is the child-parent relationship. See, when we talk about relationships, you know the first thing people think, we think
Romantic.
We think romantic. We think physical, sexual organs. We don't think about how the parent-child relationship impact is the first. I'm gonna say this to you. It is the very first relationship that can impact us, and it can carry us through our lives. Unfortunately, it can mess us up for the rest of our lives as
Determine
well.
how you relate to
It can
everybody
determine
else.
how you relate to every single thing. So I want you to think about this now. My children, you know, people see me and they see me on the sidelines, and Macho gonna laugh a little bit. You know, I get after it. I get after my players. I get after it. I get after my children. But I talk to them all. I am the sit down at the dinner table father. I am the hey man. Everybody put their phones up except me, right? We're gonna sit down. We're gonna kick it. I want to know what went on. Me and my 12-year-old daughter. We gonna sit down. I'm gonna figure out what she's doing. I'm gonna ask her what boy she likes and who like her. And all. If you don't have that type of rapport and that type of relationship with your child, because you gave birth or because you provided the sperm for that child to be born, does not just say, okay, now everything is straight. You have to be intentional, as my brother just talked about. You got to cultivate that relationship. And oftentimes what happens too is what y'all talked about. We talked about fearing a whooping. But the one thing that we haven't mentioned tonight, we did not want to disappoint our parents either. See, we didn't want to disappoint our parents. You know, my mother talked about all the time, hey, you ain't going to embarrass us now. That Ward name, my father talked about it before he died. He said, look, man, you ain't going to embarrass me. Unfortunately.
But I think that's an unnecessary and undue pressure on child.
Well, embarrassed. Well, no.
I think it is, because I'm not responsible for how society perceives you. That's your job. Your
Absolutely.
job is to make sure I don't act in such a way that society perceives you contrary to what you project.
It's like you said, though. I want you to think about this, because I'm only going by what you said. Your son was in the camp, in the summer camp, and you like
acted a whole nut.
He acted a nut. Well, he acted a little bit of a nut. But you said, man, you ain't going to be out here and embarrassing me. And it goes into...
Trust and believe. After that one day that I embarrassed him in front of him,
Ain't
and
doing no
he
more.
knew that I didn't agree with his fuck shit,
Guess what?
He
ain't doing no more.
It did not
It
happen.
ain't happen again.
There.
It ain't happen again.
Look at
Let's say
this
there.
comment. Look at this comment, and it's to what you said too, and it's really piggybacking. She say, parents aren't parenting their kids. Kids believe that everything on social media is true. I am a teacher, and I always tell the students, what you see on these reality shows is not how young men and women behave. It's unacceptable. Some students are very disrespectful and don't know because they haven't been taught what respect is. As a teacher, I will tell the students, okay, I don't see what you see or what is acceptable at home that is not right. I pray they listen to the things I tell them and become good citizens. And when you think about the reality of that, parents aren't parenting. So when you don't create, and when you don't create that structure at home, when you don't create that mindset at home, when you don't create those habits at home, you put them in that situation and you make it worse on all parties involved.
Man, listen. You make it worse for everybody. You make it worse for your neighbors. You make it worse for everybody, man. You make it worse
they gotta
for
hear that
society.
shit.
Because they got to hear it. And well, you think about it, D, you can't, we have created an environment where you can't, your son is how old now, 13? Your son is 13 years old, a young king.
Yeah.
You can't even say, you know what, after he's done, taking care of his chores, cut the grass, whatever he has to do, done his homework, going down to the park, man, going to hoop. If you did, you got to, You worried like never before? I'm a father, and I'm all father. Ain't no mama in me, right? I watched myself, and I said, man, you got to let them walk to the store sometime. Because I created that for them. I say, man, go on to the store. I'm not driving you to the store. I ain't bringing back all your snacks.
It's healthy, though.
No. It ain't
healthy.
no question about it. I am that parent, but I also understand because of parents unlike us, they've created an environment where you have to worry about. My daughter can't go get a job at the Dollar Tree or something in the neighborhood or the store because they robbing them and they shooting the people in them now. So the things that we knew we could do that's beneficial for our young people, that independence, that socialization.
It still got to be with a short leash.
It has to be with such a short leash. And that's sad because, again, it goes back to what I said. Our children don't deserve this. The perpetrators don't deserve to be able to behave like this because they don't want to. They don't want to. They just haven't had it.
They don't know no better.
Man, I've had.
Okay,
yes.
I want to ask you a question.
Give me a question, Queen.
We keep throwing this. Kids don't know what respect. They don't know what define respect.
Wow.
If they don't know, we gotta know so we can communicate it to them. Communicate it to them in such a way that it translates when they're outside of our presence. What is
actual respect? I think, and again, you can't answer a vocabulary word with a vocabulary word. I really believe in understanding of how to treat people.
Character.
character. So I don't want to. I don't want to sound like Webster, but I want you to think about this. Just the understanding of how you should conduct yourself, your character. Understanding that you can't mistreat people. You know, there are so many layers to respect. You know, we knew, okay, Miss Johnson is over there, she's talking. We knew that if her and your mother were talking, you couldn't walk up and just start talking.
In a child's place.
And you couldn't even just stand there and wait on them to finish. See, when we grew up, that was disrespectful. Cause
this generation, you got the kids get involved in an argument.
So that's exactly
kicking when the person is down in the middle of the fight.
It is exactly what I'm saying. And I think, you know, we wanted so long to get from up under those shackles of what you talked about. The whoopings, right? The abuse that we talked about. Where we said, you know what?
I ain't whooping my kid.
I ain't whooping my kid.
We went to the opposite extreme. And neither one of them are healthy.
And neither, so it has to be some gray area. It has to be a middle ground to make this thing successful. Because again, what our parents and grandparents were doing, it wasn't all right. But I would tell you this.
It wasn't all wrong.
It wasn't all wrong. It wasn't all right. You think about this.
Because we turned out all right.
Stop it.
We grew up respecting authority.
That's why
we grew up not robbing banks. We grew up not stealing
and we
cars.
flipped it. We flipped it so quick. Where you have so many of us who are, again, we're living pretty doggone good now. We're able to be self-sufficient. We're able to take care of ourselves and all that.
What got us
and I'm about to lead the set. Mark, get out of here. I'm leading the set.
We forgot what got us here.
Queen, we forgot what, well, you know what? And that's why I said we've disrespected our parents and our grandparents. And I'm going to tell you how. We decided that we were going to go totally against the script. See, we decided, oh, you know what? Mama, yeah, I'm straight. And we said, well, say no, finish that. What you about to say? You ain't like what?
I ain't like getting whooped.
I ain't like getting whooped.
I ain't like da-da-da-da, so I ain't gonna do that with my child. I'm gonna raise my child different.
And here's
then
the
we
thing.
have different results.
You got different results.
And we wonder
but
were
we prepared? Were we prepared? But more importantly is this, and I'm piggyback off you because you so spot on with this though. Our young people, the parents of our young people, we've said, oh yeah, okay, we don't have to do that. And now, macho, our women got the bag now. So now you have an innate nurturer. It's the reason why y'all carry the babies, right? Because we'd go somewhere and be hooping a fight or something. We'd do something stupid, lose the baby, all that. Y'all are nurturers. Y'all are lovers by nature. So now you are allowed to have the power of the bag, and you can nurture that boy. You can nurture that baby to death. And now guess what?
You think that's
well, I'm with you. And so now the man has been shunned. So the man has been shunned in his community, in his household, and you can go to the dealership and go get you a car, and you ain't got to ask nobody. A lot of our grandmothers didn't even drive. And I wondered why when I was a young boy. I'm gonna tell you what God loved, and that's the truth. I realized though, that power that the man possessed within the family, hey, y'all, I've been called primitive. I've been called a lot of things, old-fashioned and all that. But guess what? I understand why granddaddy had that kind of power because he understood. Now, if your grandmama get all of this, she going to mess this thing up.
And this didn't happen, too. To your point, this didn't happen. Carla Hunter said, they don't fear fathers because of how women disrespect the man and the fathers in the home.
Oh, boy, oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Boy,
motherfucking wow.
But see, let me say something.
No, but what he just said when he just...
We can't just blame the women.
We're not.
No. I want to make a point, though.
That's us.
Because had the role not reversed, that man would not be disrespectable.
Yeah, but
it still should not happen in the presence of that child, and I get that. But my thing is because the man has lost his place, and the woman has tried to take the place.
Yeah, it makes it perpetuates it even more though. Like when you think about a situation like that, where and again because they're fucking sponges, right? Yeah. So they gonna adapt and see. They gonna fuck all that. Listen, this is not you. This ain't the era of you don't do what I do. You do what I say. This ain't that motherfucking era. They gonna do what the fuck they see. Yeah. So if you do it, I'm doing it. So that's why I was in again. Cause if as a fucking parent, when you set the fucking standard at fucking home,
Yep.
you know that's why you was confident in knowing. And again, cause that's why
I was black
don't say
flabbergasted.
what my kids won't do, cause these
Right.
motherfuckers will make you. I remember Dr. Jenkins telling this motherfucker, when your daddy walk in, you tell him the motherfucking truth.
But let
You
me
goofy.
tell you something. It ain't even just our kids, because I very distinctly remember I was acting a whole ass in my art class, right? Just because I wanted to act the ass,
happens.
right? Because I
Absolutely.
figured the
Yeah,
teacher wasn't
yeah.
gonna do shit.
But
You know
that
what
acting
this
the ass
teacher
didn't
did?
turn into disrespect.
No, let
though.
me tell you. No, I ain't gonna tell you it didn't. I was one of them straight A students with 3s in citizenship.
Yeah.
Because I was just that student. My mother was, like I said, was DPD. She's a retired DPD. My art teacher called my mother unbeknownst to me. My mother showed up in the middle of the class and caught me in the act of acting an ass.
Ooh-wee.
So it ain't just our kids. Like, we tried that shit, but it got handled one good time.
So
And I never did that
you
shit
ain't had
the
to
fuck
do it
again.
again.
Right?
I remember
you
my
handled
mama
those
went up-
situations
That
just like
same.
that.
So when my mother walked in, she already knew what time it was. Everybody in the class knew what time it was.
Dig this.
She had that police belt that she hold everything on wrapped
black
around her
one.
hand when she walked in that bitch, because she already knew I was cutting up, right? Took me down the hall,
Oh,
past all the other classroom kids lined up in the hallway for lunch.
Everybody saw
to
you
the
get your-
girls' bathroom.
they knew
I
you was
had
about
to
to get
bend
your-
over the sink, get my ass whooped. They heard me cry. I had to walk right by
Back.
these same motherfuckers.
Humiliation at its finest.
You know what I'm
and you
saying?
deserved all
and
that
I deserved it because I was acting a whole ass. But I never, ever tried that shit again.
Well,
I'm not saying that the severity of it, you know what I'm saying?
no, you need listen to
But-
me. Listen, my granddaddy used to tell me all the time, good ass whooping will do a mule some
Now,
good.
what you
Listen.
don't do is record the shit and put it on social media.
Right.
Like these
But
parents
see, it
do
wasn't
nowadays.
happening back then. The
I
kid,
know,
nobody,
but
nobody had no
ain't no-
camera.
ain't no
nobody had
Cabone or none of
phone.
that.
I'm talking about
We had
these
beepers.
situations.
Yeah, we had beavers, but
They're like,
again, y'all statements.
304. That's all we knew.
That's all you knew, ho. Y'all statements though were so
Silly as hell.
y'all confused. Y'all had a great fusion of a statement.
Yeah.
You think about it though, man. You can't. Yeah, you'll never say what your child won't do. You can't. But I think D brought it all home. Yep, her mama couldn't say what she wouldn't do in that art class that one time. The one thing I always tell people, I ain't gonna tell you what my children ain't gonna do once.
Right. They gonna try it.
I'm gonna tell you what they ain't gonna do twice.
Absolutely.
That's my thing. I'm gonna tell you what they ain't gonna do twice. And you gotta
wish
be.
I could say that.
You need to
Man, I
be
used to-
active.
man, yeah, I used
You
My
need to.
kid
You need to
just
be.
keep repeating shit. What I'm doing.
But it's going. But you know what though, Queen. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this now. As he gets older and he finds his purpose, and that's another thing for our young people too. We have to expose our children to a whole lot so they can really see what it is they are, who they are, and what they want to do.
Yeah.
Once the child finds their purpose, then they become a different individual, just like us as adults.
They become more intentional.
They become more intentional. Macho talked about it early, being intentional. So, again, what we have to do, though, going back to the original question, we got to work together. Yes, does the instructors have some responsibility in this? Absolutely. But I'm going to say this and I'll say this. And I've said this and I've sat in staff meetings and talked to my staff. And I've said, look, establish the relationship. Don't, every time something happens, let's not do anything punitive.
See, that's the thing. Because, see, this is what happens when you got negative and positive reinforcement,
There you
right?
go. Talk
If
about
the
it.
only attention they're getting is negative attention,
They
guess
gonna
what?
get it.
That's better than no
Better
attention.
than
So they're going to
Correct.
do
Run it
what's
up.
necessary to get any attention,
see.
even if it's
You
negative,
better
right?
talk about it. You better talk about
Right?
it. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. But unfortunately, I think that we're not, as people working inside the school system, working with young people at various places, we have to be willing to sacrifice some things initially for the better of the good. Later on down the road, I always say, you know what? The child can't fail. So if we take that attitude, what are you willing to do? See, the child winning is not just a parental thing. It's not just the family.
It's a community.
It is a community thing.
Say
So
that.
when the child wins,
Say that.
everybody wins.
Say that.
And it means everybody has had some investment in this. So at my son's open house, and I pretty much said this at both of their open houses, I said, I stood up and they, wanted me to say something. I said, listen, I want to give everybody a hand. As a matter of fact, I want my son to give a hand to everybody else. Mm-hmm. And everybody kind of looking like, damn. And I said, listen, you got a 17-year-old boy who has 2 professional parents. He didn't have to work when it was during basketball season. He worked in the summertime. He knew where his meals were coming from. He knew that he had love from each of you. I could reach out to at least 50 to 75 of the people that was in attendance and say, hey, man, I need $100 for G. Mm-hmm. And I could have got it, right? Mm-hmm. A boy graduating from high school, that's low-hanging fruit for him. Mm. Let's not act like, he has done something tremendous to do it. That success is a direct reflection of the village when it's done properly.
Mm-hmm. When it's done properly.
It says everybody. Village. It says everybody involved has succeeded and has done a great service for this child. Mm-hmm. We have gotten out of, hey man, hey, your uncle sent you $10, man. Call your uncle and tell him thank you. Mm-hmm. You think about that. Mm-hmm. How many times have we done something for young people that did not come from us? And you see somebody in the neighborhood and he didn't say thank you. Mm-hmm. Because they don't even understand. Again, that's disrespectful.
This is an entitled generation.
Because it started at home and someone has led them to believe
that you gonna get everything.
You can get everything you want. And
no matter what.
And as okay, all right, D. You know how many parents have told me, well, you get everything you want.
Rumble in the classroom.
And I said, are you a damn fool? Like, who the hell? Now, I want y'all to think about this now.
Damn.
That's part of the problem.
What adult? And you work.
And I don't get it.
You educated. I don't. Who
I
the
tell
hell?
my son, I said, nigga, I don't give a fuck how old you get. You never gonna get everything.
You don't get everything you want. So,
you better learn that
stop that
and get adapted to it.
But we have. So the question needs to be, and y'all need to have this topic one day. Mm-hmm. Why are we so much more in love with our children than our parents were? Why are we so much more in love?
So I'm gonna tell you what has happened. I'm gonna tell you. So our parents and our parents' parents were more, and we're all black in here, so we already know the dynamic.
Ain't no question.
It was more about provision and protection. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about the love aspect. Mm-hmm. And so now this generation of parenting is more about the love aspect. It's like the opposite extreme. When there should be a medium of that.
I got whoopings, so I don't want to do that to my
That's
kid.
what I'm saying.
That's what
it's like,
talked about.
And so what happens is it's like you got the generation before us and that generation, and then you got us, and it's like it's a contradiction. It's opposite extremes. But if we could ever find a medium to where our kids feel provided and protected and loved, what's happened is that we've gone from providing and protecting to providing, protecting,
so give
and
me one
loving
answer.
more.
Give Macho one answer, D. Why do you think that is? One answer. What's at the core of that?
The absence of the love that was received. So I'm going to be a better parent. So if I perceive my parents weren't good parents because I didn't get love, then now I have to oversaturate my child with love so that they think I'm a good fucking parent.
Absolutely. So we did it on our podcast, State Champions podcast, that we hold on Wednesday nights as well. One of the topics was knowing what love is. See, our young people believe that love is in the form of a gift. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, I don't really remember what my father bought me. I remember every damn thing that he taught me.
But you see?
So I want you to think about this.
See?
So ultimately, I would much rather have, and I tell my players this, I'd much rather have you mad at me at 13. See, what we must understand as parents, and I'm an expert at this shit. I'm gonna say that I am. I've done it so long.
Your shit, my baby.
Well, I've done it so long, and I know I've done it so well. Where because in my coaching, my players when they graduate from college, they come back. They coach, dog, for real. I appreciate
I know you was hard on me, but I
listen,
appreciate
them kind of coaches.
I appreciate that.
Hey, listen, Ward. You so when you talk about the role you even play. And it's funny because The relationship with
Your
Coach
son.
Ward and my son came full like fucking circle, man. Like it's just the dynamics are so unique because Coach Ward is a violent intervention specialist with ceasefire, and that's, you know what I mean. Now he has a different relationship with my son in that capacity just because of, knucklehead choices. And, people always tell me too, like, man, like, I see why you be FTK, you know what I'm saying? Because you did a great job with your kids or whatever. But I had a village. I had guys like Coach Ward who, you know what I'm saying, like,
and you allowed the village.
My baby, absolutely, you know what I'm saying? Because if I fuck with you, you know what I'm saying, like that's what it is or whatever, you know what I mean?
So what about those kids that don't have a village outside of the school building? Does the administration?
That's enough of a village right there. That's everybody doesn't.
The importance of that relationship
Because
there's a lot of kids that don't have that.
They only got
It's kids that don't have that. So if they think the teachers are against
you
them,
watch boxing.
yes.
So when you see the boxer who has, been kind of getting dominated in the fight, right? Say come the 8th, 9th round, he been getting pummeled. He almost ready to give up. That's a lot of our instructors right now. So because
I just can't sympathize. Just like I
I
can't sympathize
sympathize
with these scary ass cops, I can't sympathize with no teacher that's ready to give up because you chose this shit. This is your
but they
passion.
didn't. Hold on, D. You didn't
It's your
choose.
passion.
Let me say
You didn't
this.
choose disrespect. You did.
But not only a little
I
bit.
need teachers to stop saying I don't get paid enough. You wasn't getting paid enough to do it under normal circumstances.
But let me say this to you.
you chose it.
I've been coaching since I was 25 years old at the high school level. That's 27 years, almost 28.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this to you.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of us, my brothers, man, in the coaching ranks, man, we're a different breed. But I will say this, man, you getting a whole lot more than what you signed up for. So what? Oftentimes, the teacher will say, "Hey, you know what? Let me call your mom, D. Let me see what's going on."
Yeah, we want to put no hands on teachers.
But then next thing you know, mama come up there. The child has disrespected the adult. The child has walked out the classroom. The child has told the teacher, "Shut the fuck up." Right? The parent comes up there, and ultimately the parent cusses the instructor out. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute.
Is that the majority or the minority?
Listen to me. That ain't
or
the
is
minority.
it that the
Queen.
minority is so extra to where
It ain't
appears to be
always
the
that extra.
majority?
Sometimes the mama come up there and say, "Hey, you know what? I don't play that. The next time," and then you look up, the child does it again.
I guess because I'm that parent, like, so if I got
Everybody ain't you.
I know everybody's not me. I
Everybody
guess
ain't
because I'm that parent, though, that I just don't want to believe
You-
that the
when you're not a thief, you don't
majority
think it's
is
a
the
thief.
contrary. So my teacher, my son's
look at
teacher
the
called,
majority of the students
and
how they
she's
act,
like,
you know what I mean?
he tells me his version, she tells me her version, and I on speakerphone. I have her on speakerphone. I said, so why you leave this out?
To the teacher?
No,
Oh, to your son.
So
Yeah, to your
he
son.
tells me when he gets home.
Yeah.
She calls me. We on the phone. I put her on speakerphone with him right there.
Yeah.
She tells me her version.
you
Okay,
asking
well,
him why
these
you
are
left
just
it
so
out.
polar opposite. What the fuck is really going on? You know what I'm saying? So I finally get the truth, and I check you with your teacher on speaker,
On speakerphone,
and she
so she
know
know.
that I ain't with that shit.
Well,
you know what I'm
so
saying? But
you are in the top 5%.
Yeah, 'cause back to-
It ain't
I hate
everybody-
that though.
No,
That's sad though.
You're parenting.
But see,
parenting,
that's
baby.
sad because
Just
my
like
thing is,
just like how you told him
You're
the lack of his
parenting.
presence like him is the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Like
you're
your parents
parenting.
are like you. It's
So when you
like your parents
parenting,
are
those
like
are the
you.
results of it. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker go to work 40 hours to get a paycheck. Okay.
Yes.
Like you're parenting.
They're
Those are
career
the
teachers.
results of it.
There you go,
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Just
Your
their
math is
information.
mathing at that point. So when you think about these motherfucking kids that have the and here when you got to the school and you said they told you and she showed you that video, you collared his ass up like, what
in
the fuck
front of
are you
her.
doing, right?
In front of her. I
So-
ain't give a
so-
fuck.
so-
Call
all
the
the
people.
listen.
Wherever you
So-
campaign is where you
I
get
was like, so
elected.
this what
And
the
that's
fuck
just
we
and
doing?
that was
parents
and
don't
that was
do that
just
because they don't wanna
absolutely
discipline their kids
and that
in
was
front
just
of
based
them.
on what you saw in the video. So this young girl that we saw in this video went up to the motherfucking teacher and swung on her. Like, bitch, this ain't the movies. Like, are you crazy? Because as a grown motherfucker, and listen,
This ain't social media,
I
bitch.
coach
This is
football.
reality.
I
This is
coach
a whole
Lily
grown ass
football.
woman.
I coach Lily football. So when we coached the 18, these little niggas nuts was dropping, right? So you dealing with niggas smoking weed, they fucking, you know what I'm saying, like mustaches. So no daddies at home. You know how many niggas we had to had to remind, like I will fuck you up, my guy. However. But I also, let's go back to the narrative though, right? I also had relationships. So I was the coach that would go the fuck in, but I would build you up.
But they knew you loved
Yeah,
them, though.
absolutely, because I had a
And that's the
relationship. You know what I'm
difference.
saying?
Just like you said, you can't discipline
Absolutely.
without them knowing
Yeah.
you care about
Yeah,
them.
with love and kindness.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
And some of these teachers, I ain't gonna lie. It's
That
some
was some
good
hard
ones.
shit.
It's a lot of good ones, and there's some that really make a bad rap, just like anything else. One bad apple spoiled a bunch. But some of these teachers really just don't give a fuck. They give a fuck about going to a high risk school and getting their student loans paid off if they stay there for 2 years.
Coach, you a grown man.
Yes, sir.
You a grown motherfucking man. And
Denise
right,
Brown,
right?
you're right, Queen Denise
We're
Brown.
gonna read your
You're right.
comment in 1 second, Denise. But Coach, you a grown man. One of them motherfuckers swing on you, Coach. You hugging them.
He gonna regret it. he gonna regret it.
Adolescent or not.
Yeah, he gonna regret it. Listen to me, man.
But see, they ain't gonna do that
I
because
tell
you
them,
established.
yeah, they ain't gonna do that. But
You know?
I tell them all the time, and I don't mean it as disrespect. I tell them, hey man, get your daddy up here.
Yeah, get your
Because
daddy.
when they get me to a point, because I've had some students who I know really need one of the first things they need is a good ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
I really be like, man, just call your daddy up here, man, because I'm about to whoop your ass, and I want him to approve of this. I want your mama to approve of this ass whooping that you need. I don't want them tripping when I do it. But I want y'all to think about this, and this is the pressure that we have on our children. D, I want you to use this in one of your theses. I want you to use this now.
Okay.
One of the fundamental differences, your mama told you at 9, 10 years old, summertime, July 12th, whatever, June 23rd, school out, your cousins over, y'all kicking it, and they say, hey, make sure you on the porch by the time the street lights come on, right? What happened when the street lights came on in 86 and 80,
Everybody
81?
converged on
So,
their porch.
say it again. Say it again, D.
Everybody, because it was understood.
Okay, so you said everybody, right?
Everybody
So
converged on
when
their
we
porch.
heard the buzz, ladies and gentlemen, what happened when we heard that buzz from the lights, Macho? Everybody took
go
off.
home.
And everybody,
Oh, yeah.
your boy down the street, Pookie, Myron,
It's time to go
everybody,
home.
Hey,
your
it was
homegirl.
one lady on our block, right? Her son was always late,
Late.
right? And she'd be on the corner like, PJ!
Yes, hollering. But guess what, though?
He took his ass home.
So
'Cause you
here's
didn't
the-
go to nobody else's house.
No, you-
because them parents on that block would send your ass
Send
home.
your ass home. But
You know what I'm saying?
or if it was understood,
Parents
okay.
was
If it was
parenting.
understood, you know what, you can go sit on D's porch here, a couple houses down. You can sit on the porch, but you're not gonna be on the street, right?
Right.
Facts.
2023. This comparison and contrast. Right?
They don't even understand the concept of street
if you
lights
told
coming
your
on.
if you told
It
your
was just
if
light
you
at
told
night.
your child at 9 or 10 years old, this the pressure that the peer group has put on the children. If your son was 8 or 9 years old, which he not, but hey man, make sure you're home when the street lights come on. When that buzz comes, when the street lights buzz on, and your son get to running, what happens now though? He look behind him, and what's going on behind him? Nothing.
'Cause
Ain't nobody moving.
because there's
nobody
no
else has to do
continuity.
it. There's no continuity between the community
Yeah.
now. So, do you know what type of pressure that puts on that boy as he's running down the street?
And so now I'm not gonna go home on time because I look like the square ass kid. They gotta be home on time.
We've
Y'all can hang
we've
out.
educated
And what
our
makes it
listeners.
even
That's
worse.
exactly what
And
the
what
fuck
makes it even
me and my
worse.
kid going through right now.
I said that for you. We've
this is-
educated our listeners tonight. I
Yeah.
can go home walking because God
Absolutely.
dog it.
And this
that's
is,
what's happening.
And this is where social media has influenced and impacted our parenting so much now, because your kids would rather deal with the consequences of you and your reality versus what might happen if their friends record them and post it on social media, because of the embarrassment that comes with that. Now it gets relived every year because now it's reminded in the memory. So
There
the
you
fact
go.
that now, like again, even when you get your ass beat, nobody knew you got your ass beat when we was little, but the people who were there.
Yeah.
Now your ass, you get
The
your ass
world
beat,
know.
and before you finish getting your ass beat, you
Viral.
already
Ass
viral,
whooping.
right? So now I would rather,
Yep.
back to your point, instead of me knowing. So and I dealt with this with my son.
I know.
My son would break curfew because he would rather
Loud.
like hear my mouth or deal with the consequences of whatever came with me.
I'd
'cause
rather
it would
ask
happen.
for-
Than
It
the
would
embarrassment from his
100%
friends.
than having to relive this,
And
because
that's
this gonna
exactly
be
what the
repetitive.
fuck, yeah. Ooh.
Right, because I'm gonna see these niggas more than I'm gonna see you, pops, and these niggas right now is what matters though.
That's
I'm
what's
on the
happening.
football team. I'm that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
So nigga, I can't go to the crib right now, nigga. It's
I think there's a very fine line, everyone. There's a very fine line where you have to, you know, my 19-year-old man, and I think it's a blessing. And sometimes I could cry because I understand the generation that he's in. Right. My 32-year-old, he's a grown ass man in the truest sense of the word. He make his own decisions. He doing it the right way. Ain't asked me for no money since he was 18. Me or his mama. My 19-year-old, the more we talk, and he's always been his own guy, but I can hear the maturity. He's in Texas right now. He's coming home next week. He'll be done with his freshman year in college. And the one thing that I know is I had to let him have his individualism, right? He had to establish that early. But I talked to him about everything just about. And his mother talked to him about everything. And what you want to do, you want to establish some things early where he understands. Y'all talked about respect and fear and how those things kind of, they're intertwined together. You know, you got to respect me in a state where it borderlines on fear. Like, man, you know what? My pop's going to whoop my ass. But more importantly, talking to them every day and making them see, hey, man, you see my man over there? My man about to be a clown now. Now, I'm telling you. And I will say this, and I'll say this, Macho. This is the one thing that I did a little different. And I always have. I didn't let my sons hang with anybody. I'm going to say this to you. D, I'm going to tell you, people, you know, again, it's 2023. You know, anytime a black man is tough and a black man is in any type of a mode of James Evans, they call us all kind of names, right? But I will say this, controlling, narcissism, whatever you want to say, I don't just let my children hang with anybody. I will say, if I see you with him again, I'll break your damn neck. Because I understand how some of these young people have gotten twisted up trying to please somebody, or you just riding in the car with my man. He got a couple pistols. You don't know what he on, and you don't know what he's done. And it's 2023 now. The mistake that we made in 84, 88, 89, it's a little different now. Somebody might get into a fight or something. Now these dudes will kill you.
Shoot up the whole car.
They'll shoot up the entire car.
You ain't got shit to do with shit.
You ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Fight.
So, no, man. You ain't hang with anybody. You ain't hang with everybody. And I'm going to stick to that, and I don't care what anybody thinks about it.
So the teacher got charged and the girl got charged in that case. Is
Yes.
what we understood right now.
Yeah.
And that's fucked up because what is Judge Joe Brown said, self-defense is two different things. I mean, assault and battery is two different things. You know what I mean? Assault happens when somebody aggressively comes within your arm reach. They have assaulted you.
Okay.
The battery then happens when they put their hands on you physically. So that little young lady,
Yeah.
assaulted.
The teacher had every right under the law to defend herself.
So why is she charged?
Under the because once you had that girl on the ground restrained, all those extra blows you gave her were unnecessary.
Yeah.
You were straddling her. You didn't have to be.
Well, by the time she got her down, didn't she just
Did you
hold her
read?
down?
No, she didn't just hold her
no,
down.
she
She
hit her a
was.
couple
She was.
times.
I saw the video. She was going down. Yeah,
I
you're
saw
right.
the video
But the
too.
girl was still punching her too, though.
It don't matter. You're straddling over her.
Hold on.
She can't do shit to you.
She was still swinging though. She was
It
still
don't.
hitting her.
She's not making contact, but you hitting the little girl in the head.
But the moment she got her on the ground,
You're
and they were still,
restraining her.
I'm gonna go watch
have
the video
to meet
again.
force with force.
Yeah, but she was still swinging, so she was swinging. Now the moment she got her to the ground is when she pinned her down. It ain't like she had her pinned. Oh, hold on. Let me just.
I'm just telling you what the paperwork said.
Let me. I know, but when she had her from what I saw in the video, when she had her pinned down, she didn't hit her no more.
Didn't swing.
No more.
Yes, she did.
No, once she had
Yes,
her,
down-
listen. Once
Not
she
that.
had her down and she said, "Go get help," she never swung on her again.
If she only hit the girl,
Maybe it was
got on her,
before-
and
maybe it was before
contained
that
her.
point that she was.
That's what I'm
hitting her
saying.
down.
Because as long as
She
the
hit
girl
her after she had her on the ground and was straddling over her. You can see
I'm gonna
very
watch the video
clearly
again.
how it was like
Yeah,
at
but she
least
was
3 or
swinging
4
too,
more
though.
blows after she had that girl on the ground.
and the
She's
girl on the
telling
ground
people
wasn't
to go
swinging no
get
more.
people.
The moment she was saying "Go get help," I didn't think she was still swinging.
Rewatch the video because she hit her after she had her on the ground. She
Yeah,
hit her
she hit her.
several times.
Yeah, she hit her-
And she
she
hit her
hit her
several
again.
times in the head.
She hit her again. But I will say
I'm not
this,
saying she didn't have a right to defend
yeah,
herself.
that's right.
She
We ain't
did.
saying that.
But once you have a person
You got control.
restrained,
Stop.
I get that part. But
It's- especially-
and that's it. You
Don't
still
on, D.
have to have self-control.
Not just a person. What was it? Remember
A
now.
child.
She a child. And you are an authority figure. See, we got to remember that, Macho. You got to remember that, man. And
was that high school? That was high school, right?
middle school? That
was
little girl
middle
wasn't
school?
in high
That was middle school. She was
Middle
14 years old.
Wow.
13, 14, yeah. Regardless of the circumstance.
Yeah, she had every right to defend herself, but it's only so much you can defend yourself against.
Whoop
The girl
that
didn't have a weapon.
trick,
You
yeah.
can't just be pummeling her.
No, you can't.
You know what I'm saying?
can't do
You're
it.
still an administrator. You're still
Yeah,
under
you
the
still-
guise of their
yes.
authority. You still have certain ethical guidelines that you have to adhere to.
Ethical guidelines.
You understand what I'm
compass. Where's
saying?
yeah,
You're a teacher and you ascribe to the Teachers Association, and you have certain standards wherewith
She
you
was
have
like,
to be
"Fuck being a
confined
teacher.
to.
Don't put
And
your
if you
hands
go
on me."
beyond
No,
that,
man,
then
but you
subject
gotta
to
see.
criminal
Listen,
charges.
and on one thing you gotta remember in all of that is, I always say, I tell people, sometimes I've heard, students, if they get mad, they don't know me like that, and they'll say, "Hey, man, I wish this motherfucker, I wish he'd shut the fuck up," right? So at that time, I will say, you know what, and I can see how that child is moving at that time. I want to address it
Remove
then.
myself.
Say it again, D.
You have the ability to remove yourself.
See, I
She
tell
could
people,
have literally walked out of that class.
well, once that child did that,
Once
she
she
had
came
to handle
behind
her.
and got in her space,
Yeah,
she
you
had
gotta
do-
handle that.
But before it got to that,
But you can't
I
hear
could have
so
stepped
well.
out and made a phone call
There
to
you
the
go.
administration, like before this shit get out of hand,
I'm
and I
about to-
gotta beat this
yeah.
little bitch ass. Then I'm gonna need somebody to.
Well, you know what's
security down
funny?
here.
Somebody was going to get that little girl. I'm gonna say that too. Some instructor, some administrator, some authority figure was going to get that little girl because of how she moves.
And because
All
she
right,
was
we
with the
gotta
shit.
come up with our final thoughts. We wrapping up on the hour time. What's your final thought?
I'm gonna get my
Mr.
final
Macho?
call. I'm gonna get my final thought to Coach.
Wow.
Coach.
I got my own final thought. Give your final thought, man. The listeners need to hear you. This is your show. This you and D's show. This y'all thing. I'm coming back though.
Well,
Y'all
we
gonna see me
appreciate
again.
you.
Yeah,
So,
come
in hindsight, if I was a teacher and you swing on me, I'm beating your ass. Okay.
Man, come on, man.
No, but reality says, I think that when you look at what happened with that situation, I think it really just, humbly speaking, it goes back to parenting. And again, I don't know the mom. We don't know if that picture was legit or the post was legit or not. But if it was legit, then kudos to the mom, because the mom stayed in there. Like,
She was like,
why
"Are
would
y'all
I,
okay?"
like, y'all calling me thinking I'm about to go up to the school to fight somebody when my child have the audacity to be disrespectful? Like, no, like, now I'm beating your ass. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really what the response should
That's
be
the politically
as a
correct
parent,
response.
right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I think like when with all situations when your kids are out of pocket, like it's reflective to you as a parent. So you want to make sure you correct that shit when it happens. You want to nip that shit in the bud. You want to be very fucking consistent, right? And when you're consistent, you typically get those results. You know what I mean? Like, and again, your kids, the older they get, the more daring they are. So the more dumb they are, the more
Risky
stupid they got,
behavior.
right?
Yeah,
So that's
risky
why I be in full FTK, fuck them kids mode. And I can
always said
say
that.
that because I'm a great fucking parent. You know what
you
I mean?
are.
So I think they definitely have to be intentional with the things that they do as a parent, and then the kids will absolutely give you your roses
And
versus
that doesn't
embarrass
mean
you.
they won't stray.
Right.
That just means they're going to operate with a level of fear.
Yeah, for real.
At least for disappointing or angering you.
For real.
Mr. Ward, what's your final thought?
It was great being here tonight. I really appreciate you guys for having me. But
appreciate you.
I want our families to look at this, and I want them to think about it. There's going to be a point in time in the parent-child relationship where there's going to be discord. And you would much rather there be discord while the child is young, where it's correctable, as opposed to the child becoming your adult child and there's discord, and now it's almost in a situation where we can't correct it. We don't want to have it on Juneteenth where your child does not want to come visit you because y'all not talking. And typically it is due. And let me say this to you. I'm going to say this to you, America, and understand this, black folks. Your child will come visit you if you didn't buy them Jordans or you didn't buy them some hell of a jeans when you were when they were a child. You listen to me and listen to me carefully. They will still visit you. You will still spend time with your grandchildren and all of that good shit. If you do not provide the structure and discipline for that child, when they become an adult and they live a life of crime, prison, whatever the case may be, they will look back at you and they will be upset with you because you knew, and they know, that you did not do what you were supposed to do as an adult, as a parent. So let me say this to you. Be prepared for the child to be upset with you when they're younger as opposed to when they're older. Because if they're upset with you when they're older, you are probably damaged a relationship that can't be repaired. I love you, and you always remember that.
That's heavy. I digress. That's my final thought.
We appreciate y'all. Excuse
Damn,
My
D.
Truth podcast.
Damn, D.
We'll see y'all next Wednesday.
7
my
Mile
baby.
Radio in the building,
7
baby.
Mile Radio.
One love
Tap
to
in.
you. Power to the people.
Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.